Picture this. You're going about your life, perfectly content in your skepticism, when suddenly, bam, you meet someone who flips your world upside down. Not in the usual, they're cute, let's get coffee way, but in the why does my soul feel like it just recognized an old friend way. And now you're stuck in this bizarre limbo between logic and something far more mysterious, wondering if you've accidentally stumbled into a love story written by the cosmos itself. Here's the kicker. You don't have to believe in twin flames for them to believe in you. This isn't some airy-fairy spiritual concept reserved for people who burn sage and chart their birth charts. This is about a connection so undeniable, so electrically alive, that it defies every rational explanation you've ever clung to. It's the kind of love that doesn't ask for your permission. It just happens, like a lightning strike in a cloudless sky. One minute you're fine, the next you're questioning everything you thought you knew about relationships, destiny, and whether the universe might actually have a sense of humor. Maybe you've felt it, that magnetic pull, the uncanny sense of familiarity, the way time seems to warp when you're together. Or maybe you're still rolling your eyes, arms crossed, thinking, yeah, right, that's okay. The universe doesn't need your buy-in to work its magic. So whether you're a die-hard romantic or a hardened skeptic, buckle up, because we're about to explore what happens when love doesn't just knock on your door. It kicks it down, walks in like it owns the place, and changes everything. And the wildest part? You don't even have to call it a twin flame for it to rewrite your story. Ready? Let's dive in. You don't have to believe in gravity to fall. You don't have to understand electricity to get shocked. And you sure as hell don't need to subscribe to the idea of twin flames to meet yours. The universe has a wicked sense of humor like that. It'll drop a soul-shaking connection right into the lap of the biggest skeptic, just to watch them fumble for rational explanations. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, I wasn't looking for this, I didn't even believe in it, but then, them? It's like walking into a library insisting books don't exist, only to trip over a first edition Shakespeare. The irony is delicious. Twin flames operate on a frequency beyond belief systems. They're not a spiritual subscription service. Sign up now and receive one divine counterpart. No, they're more like an underground river, flowing whether you acknowledge it or not. You might spend your whole life rolling your eyes at woo-woo concepts, only to lock eyes with a stranger and feel the ground tilt. What was that? Your brain scrambles for logic. Must be pheromones, or low blood sugar, or oh no, what if this is real? And here's the kicker. The connection doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for you to read the right books, attend the right workshops, or even admit that soulmates might be a thing. It just happens. Like a song you've never heard, but somehow know all the words to. Like déjà vu with a heartbeat. Science types might call it imprinting, a biological pull, hardwired and inexplicable. Poets might call it fate. Cynics might call it, okay, fine, maybe there's something to this. But labels don't change the experience. You can deny the concept all you want, but when your chest tightens at their voice, when you dream about them before you've even learned their last name, when every coincidence stacks up like the universe is screaming, pay attention. Well, belief stops being a choice. So here's the real question. If you don't believe in twin flames, but then you meet yours, do you still not believe? Or does the universe just laugh and hand you a new identity crisis? Don't worry, it's a fun crisis. Mostly. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and forget why you're there? Now imagine that, but instead of a room, it's a person. And instead of forgetting, you remember everything. Not with your brain, but with your bones. Your skin prickles. Your stomach does a backflip. Time does that weird thing where it stretches and snaps back like a rubber band. And suddenly, you're very aware that this isn't just another Tuesday. Science calls it facial familiarity response. Spiritual folks call it recognition. You'll probably call it, "What the hell was that?" Followed by a frantic Google search at 3 a.m. Because here's the thing about twin flame recognition. It doesn't announce itself with a choir of angels or a dramatic slow motion run across a beach, though that'd be nice, wouldn't it? It's subtler, sneakier, like catching a scent that reminds you of childhood, but you can't place it. Like hearing a song you swear you've never heard before, but your body sways to it anyway. And if you're sitting there thinking, but what if I'm imagining it? Well, congratulations. You're officially having a twin flame experience. The doubt is part of the package, along with the emotional roller coaster, the life upheaval, and the strange urge to suddenly take up yoga. So here's your permission slip. You don't have to call it twin flames if that phrase makes you cringe. Call it that weirdly intense connection. Call it Steve. The name doesn't matter. The pull does. Here's the cosmic joke no one warns you about. Sometimes, the person who feels like home has to walk away, not because the love isn't real, but because it's too real, too raw, too much like staring into the sun without sunglasses. And here you are, squinting, heart cracked open, wondering how something so right could hurt so damn much. Let's call it what it is. Twin flame separation isn't a breakup. It's a soul upgrade. Ever held a butterfly too tightly? Of course not. You'd crush its wings. But here's the thing. Love isn't much different. Sometimes the only way to keep a connection alive is to let it breathe, to release the grip, to trust that if it's yours, it'll return, not out of obligation, but because the pull is stronger than distance, time, or even logic. And oh, the irony, the more you try to force a twin flame bond, the more it slips through your fingers like smoke. But the moment you surrender, that's when the magic happens. Synchronicities pop up like streetlights, guiding you home. Dreams get so vivid, you wake up reaching for someone who isn't there. And then, just when you've stopped counting days, life drops a reminder. They're still woven into your story. A song, a scent, a stranger with their laugh. Here's the secret seasoned twin flames know. Separation is temporary, but the growth is permanent. Every lonely night, every unanswered text, every what if that keeps you up at 2 a.m., it's all fertilizer for the next chapter. And when, not if, you reconnect, you won't be the same people who parted. You'll be softer, wiser, more yourselves than ever before. So if you're in the thick of it right now, missing, aching, wondering if you imagined the whole thing, here's your reminder. This isn't the end. It's the necessary pause before the music swells again. Now, take a deep breath. The story's still being written. Not everyone resonates with the term twin flame, and that's okay. What matters is the depth of the connection. If a relationship feels fated, transformative, and unlike any other, it may align with the twin flame dynamic, regardless of belief. The heart knows before the mind accepts. Let's be real. You could spend a lifetime debating whether twin flame is the right term. Is it soulmate, divine counterpart, karmic partner, or just that one person who makes your heart do backflips while simultaneously driving you up the wall? Here's the liberating truth. The label doesn't matter half as much as the feeling does. Think of it like this. You don't need to know the chemical composition of chocolate to know it tastes good. You don't need to understand quantum physics to feel the warmth of sunlight. And you definitely don't need a spiritual dictionary to recognize when a love has rewired your entire existence. Some things just are, whether we have the perfect words for them or not. Maybe you're the type who rolls their eyes at cosmic connections. Maybe you've never meditated a day in your life, and the closest you've come to a spiritual awakening is that one time you cried at a dog video at 3 a.m. No judgment, but here's the funny thing. The universe doesn't wait for you to get on board with its terminology. It just drops the experience in your lap and watches with amusement as you try to rationalize it. Ever met someone and just known deep in your gut that they were different? Not in a they're nice way, but in a my soul just sat up and took notice way. That's your internal compass pointing true north. No belief system required. The heart knows before the mind catches up. You can't always explain why you're drawn to someone. The math doesn't add up. The timing's all wrong. And yet, here you are, trying to fit a connection this big into a neat little box is like trying to stuff the ocean into a teacup. Some things weren't meant to be contained. Even the most hardened skeptics have that one late-night Google search. Can you meet your twin flame if you don't believe? The mere fact that you're asking means something in you already knows the answer. Here's the best part. You don't have to call it anything to feel it. You don't have to join a spiritual community, start wearing crystals, or suddenly believe in past lives, unless you want to. The connection exists beyond the words we use to describe it. So if the term twin flame makes you cringe, throw it out. Call it the person who feels like home. Call it the love that changed everything. Call it Steve for all it matters. The name isn't the magic, the connection is. And if you're still sitting there thinking, but how do I know for sure? Here's your answer. You don't. And you don't need to. Because the deepest truths aren't found in definitions. They're found in the way your breath catches when they walk into a room, in the way time bends when you're together, in the quiet certainty that, against all odds, you've found something rare. So stop worrying about what to call it. Just let it be. So here you stand, at the crossroads of logic and something far more ancient, something that hums in your bones like a forgotten melody. Maybe you still don't know what to call this connection. maybe you never will. But here's the secret they don't tell you in spiritual guidebooks or love poems. The mystery is the point. Think of the greatest symphonies ever composed. The pauses between the notes, the silence where the music hangs in the air, trembling, are just as vital as the sounds themselves. Your story with this person, it's no different. Whether you're in the crescendo of reunion or the quiet ache of separation, every moment is part of the score. And the beauty of it is this: you don't have to be the composer to trust the music. Let's be honest, if love came with a manual, we'd all be experts by now. But the messy, glorious truth is that the most transformative connections often resist explanation. They're like trying to catch moonlight in your hands. You can't hold it, but you can feel it, luminous and undeniable. So what do you do when you're knee-deep in questions with no answers? When you're torn between the part of you that wants to analyze every text message and the part that just knows this is bigger than your doubts? You lean into the not knowing. Because here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to define what this is, you finally experience it. No filters, no expectations, just the raw, pulsing truth of a bond that defies every rule you've ever been taught about love. If you take one thing from all this, let it be this: you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need a label to validate what your soul already recognizes. Twin flame, soulmate, once in a lifetime love. Call it whatever fits, or don't call it anything at all. The name doesn't change the connection. It only changes how you think about it. So here's your invitation, should you choose to accept it. Let go of the need for certainty. Some truths aren't meant to be dissected, they're meant to be lived. Trust the timing. Whether you're together or apart, the universe isn't wasting a single moment. Every chapter is preparing you for the next. Remember, you are already whole. This love isn't here to complete you. It's here to awaken you, to remind you of the magic you've always carried. So this isn't a conclusion. How could it be? Love stories like this don't end. They evolve. They spiral. They leave fingerprints on your life long after the last page. So whether you're laughing with them under the stars or missing them in the quiet hours of the night, know this: you are part of something rare, something wild and untamed, something that doesn't need a name to be real. And if you ever doubt it, just listen. Somewhere beneath the noise of your thoughts, your heart is still humming that same familiar tune. All you have to do is dance.